Are you a biomedical sciences student or graduate struggling to find your career path? Or you're curious about the job opportunities that might be available to you? Tuned, as in this video, we're going to explore the different opportunities that might be available to you and how you can make the most of your biomedical sciences degree. Let's go. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This video, as promised, we're going to look into other roles that you can apply to other than the laboratory. Some of them are directly related to your degree. Some of them, your degree might be applicable for you to apply. We're going to cover those job options, the importance of work experiences, and how you can start your pitching for yourself. What are the key skills that you should be highlighting in your CV? And if you want to look into further studies, what can you do? So let's dive in. Hello everyone. Again, I like to do these type of presentations because it's something that you can take away like notes and add your own notes and experiences. So it's downloadable. So we're going to be looking at what career options or paths that you have in biomedical science. So let's rock on. Let's go. Look at the job options that are directly related to your degree. The first one, biomedical scientist. By the way, those titles, you can click on them because I've used one resource. So you can click on them and it will take you to everything that has to do with the title. So I'm going to go through them and then I'll show you like an example or two, and then basically once you download this PowerPoint presentation, you will be able to explore all of those roles, whether these ones or the ones later on, or anything in blue or underlined. You can click away and explore them yourself, and again drop any questions or comments that you might have, or anything you want to add or you want me to add. Let me know anyway in the comments section. So the first title is biomedical scientist, which I am myself. We carry out tests on samples that are sent by the doctors and the nurses in order to help in disease diagnosis and the management of diseases. Biotechnologist, this is a very confusing title. A lot of people get confused between that one and biomedical scientist, but they are different, and I'll show you in the explaining once I explain the biotechnologist. They use their knowledge of biological sciences and technology to create and develop innovative products designed to improve the quality of human life. So that's the difference between biomedical scientists, which is helping disease diagnosis by carrying out tests and investigations on disease diagnosis. But biotechnologist is different. They create and develop products. So that's the difference between them. I'm not sure if it's similar to biomedical engineering, but I need to check on that. But that's the difference between the first two titles. And then you've got clinical research associate. It's a competitive but growing field, and work experience in scientific or healthcare environment is crucial if you want to work as a clinical research associate. Clinical scientist, whether in biochemistry, hematology, and immunology. In biochemistry, you analyze samples taken from patients' bloods, urines, or other bodily fluids to help with diagnosis and management and treatment of diseases. Clinical scientists in hematology, they are involved in diagnosing and managing disorders of blood and bone marrow. In immunology, clinical scientists are involved in studying, diagnosing, and managing disorders of the immune system. More jobs that are related to your biomedical science degree. Forensic scientist, again, is a competitive area, and you need to make sure that you have some lab experience and a related scientific degree. I've come across few individuals who did forensic scientist and they couldn't get into that field, so they moved into biomedical sciences as an MLA, or they moved into something else. So if you want to get into that field, make sure that you start as early as possible. Microbiologists, they study microorganisms in order to understand and treat diseases caused by microorganisms. I myself am a biomedical scientist and I specialize in medical microbiology. So even if you're not a registered biomedical scientist and you've got microbiology related degree or biomedical sciences degree, you can work as a microbiologist. I've known people who have gone through that route. Physician associate, they are trained professionals, trained health professionals who provide um, crucial support to doctors and have regular direct contact with patients. Scientists, in life sciences, they play a key role in making advances and developing new products across a range of areas from biotechnology to stem cell research. Research scientist in medical, they work as a medical research scientist, means you will be contributing to important development in the world of medicine. So there's two types here. If you want to become a scientific laboratory technician, you will support scientific analysis, investigation, research, and development. Toxicologists, they investigate any potential adverse impact that materials, chemicals, potential new medicines, natural substances, and radiation that might have on human and animal health and the environment. So let's have a look at this title, for example, just to show you that these titles you can access. So this website, I've been using it ever since I graduated from my first undergraduate degree. It's got everything. So once you've got the title here, the job profile, responsibilities, salaries, qualifications, skills, work experiences, career prospects, related. So whenever you click here, and also I would really advise you to have a look at the case studies, because the case studies give you an insight on what the job is like and the journey of the people who've taken that role eventually. And also this is my type of style as well, where I share my experiences. So look for those people. We're going to talk about that later on. But this website particularly has leveled up, so I use it for my resources. So at the end of this presentation, you will see that I have I have used it particularly for this one. Um, so yeah, explore all those titles, and then if you need any help or anything, drop me the comment below or reach out to the people who published it. So now we move on to the jobs that where your degree will be useful. Oh, some of them I had no idea about. Genetic counselor, they help patients and their families to understand and make informed decisions about a range of genetic conditions. Medical sales representative, they promote and sell the company's product to key healthcare professionals. This particular role, I've seen people progress so fast, but depending on from what I have seen and I have researched, and a lot of people grow from the commercial sector. I know a lot of people feel this is a competitive role, but truly you can progress so easily from that sort of role. Particularly if you move into a company, it's very easy to move around and navigate your way through. So have that, don't be afraid to explore the sales section, because it's ever so growing sector and will never stop growing, particularly with what's happening in the market now, the digitalization, technology, data, etc., etc., all of these. So bear that in mind. Medical science liaison, you'll be your company's scientific expert for specific drugs, acting as the key link between clinicians, research, and pharmaceutical industry. Occupational hygienist, you identify, assess, and control health hazards in the workplace in order to protect health and well-being, and ensure the safety of the wider community. Operating department practitioner, or ODPs, are allied health professionals who will provide care to patients through anesthetics, surgery, and recovery. And more jobs that are related to your degree, or your degree will be useful. Patient examiner, they use their scientific and technical examiner. I thought that was patient examiner, but that's exactly the title that I found, and I had to double check now as I was recording, but it's there. They use their scientific, technical, and legal skills to assess applications for patients, which are granted to applicants to give them the right to stop other people using, selling, and making the interventions. This, as I said, some titles are fairly new to me, so please excuse me if there's been mistakes or here. So, but again, the resource is there. So I've just copied what was there. All I'm doing is the delivering and, sharing my thoughts and insights with you guys. A neuroscientist, sound interesting, combines skills in science and research to explore brain, spinal cord, and nervous system. Scientific writer, particularly now as we have loads of scientific content, and so if you're into writing, scientific writing covers a field which fields which are undergoing rapid advances and changes, giving them the chance to report on exciting and groundbreaking developments. So, as I mentioned before, this because of the development and the advances that is happening in the field, particularly in healthcare, there's a lot going on. So don't limit yourself just to the lab. There's more things that you can do. Teaching, if you're interested in teaching, secondary teaching, I'm sure a lot of you have either had experience or exploring that. Also teaching laboratory technician, you can become a technician if you like. That's another role that you can explore. And bear in mind, there are many employers who will accept applications from graduates from any degree subject. So don't restrict yourself to thinking about these jobs, or just be brave to explore. Once you've got that degree, that itself is an achievement. I didn't do a biomedical degree, but I've heard how difficult it is and the amount of stuff that you cover. So the world is your oyster, but it's how you look at it. So now we move into, I will always emphasize on this. I made this mistake when I was a student or when I was a graduate. I didn't work on my work, I didn't pay attention on my work experience, and I'm sure this still remains. A lot of people still do their degree, they focus on that, on the academia, and they forget the work experience. That's where you will harm your career from the beginning. That's why you will struggle. So remember, not just this sector, every sector is very competitive to get into. So, in order for you to enhance your chances, you need to make sure that you find any experience that you can gain. We spoke about that in the previous videos. And if you are studying, make sure that you get into a placement, any opportunity to get a placement. If not, find a way. That's what I would say. This will be my main advice for you if you're a student. If you're a graduate, we've already explored that, but we can always emphasize in this video again to remind you. But again, check all the other videos. I've covered as much as I can, and there's more that I'll be covering. So some degrees of a placement, they provide practical experience in laboratory or scientific research. So you've got both. And this will help you build network, because again, as they say, is by who you know. Take a holiday, experience a different, working, and also make sure that you, like I said, this is a new term, speculative applications. You focus on employers of your desired field, as some might accept volunteers and allow job shadowing. We're going to have a look at that in a second. Practical experience is very important. Hands-on practice with laboratory techniques. That way, you demonstrate your interest, and that this will be highly beneficial. Search for placement, internships, and more information on work experience opportunities. Look for them. Just have the eye to look for those opportunities. Now we have a look at what speculative application. Again, I took that from that resource, and I think I've already covered that in the previous video. I would say this is how you pitch for yourself, but now we put it into words. It's contacting the organization to inquire about a job opportunities, even if there are no vacancies advertised. So never wait for vacancies. Look for them. That's all I want to say. So let's have a look at what is speculative application. Is contacting an organization to inquire about a job opportunity, even if there's no vacancies advertised, and includes sending a tailored letter, covering letter, and a CV. So as I said previously, it's like you pitching for yourself rather than waiting for an advertisement. The benefits of that, you directly contact the recruiter or the decision maker or the manager, and potential for temporary or permanent work, internships, and it will increase your business connection. It will give a positive impression, and it demonstrates that you've taken the initiative and you've shown interest, and you will be kept in mind for future vacancies or if there's an opportunity arises. And I tell you, 90% this works. I went through it myself. When I don't know if I've shared this story, but I'll share it again because there might be new viewers. When I started my career in biomedical science, I was working in a private company, and I was in specimen reception, and I wanted to move into microbiology because my I specialized. I did my master's in microbiology, biomedical science, medical microbiology, and I wanted to work in microbiology. At that time, it was a very attractive field. There was no long hours like now. You don't work weekends, etc., and the pay was very good at that time. And I was looking, I was obviously, how can I say, I was greeting the manager, I was making myself familiar. Obviously, with the staff, we all work in the same company. Anyway, eventually, I showed him my interest, told him about myself, etc., etc., what my aspirations were, and they were creating a night shift post at that time, and the deal was there. And when the opportunity happened, I got the job, and eventually I put my foot in. Yes, I was working in night shift, but then eventually I moved to day shift. Eventually, I started my career and I got the experience that I wanted. So yes, pitching for yourself, and it will take you a long way, even if you have to work voluntarily, like I mentioned in the previous video. Also, the beauty of this as well is, especially in the private sector or in a company. Once you're in a company, it's very easy to move departments. Or once you're in a trust, it's very easy to move departments. I've seen this with my own eyes. I've had this my experience, and it happens all the way around me. You will be able to move around. Once you put your foot in, that's where it starts. Just put your foot in, like what we explained several times. And also, you identify the employer, you will focus on the sector and the companies that you're interested in, and focus also on small businesses or startups. When I started exploring recently, when I became self-employed and I started traveling, I was told, if you want to enter a sector or anything new, look for startups. And I've had that experience this year. Later on, I'll share my experience. So if you follow me on social media, you would have seen what type of work I got involved in. So yes, startups and SMEs or small businesses, yes, it does go a long way. They're always open for collaboration, or if you're looking for an opportunity. Use university career services, social media, networking, employers profile on LinkedIn, etc. All these, using that, attending career fairs, all of these, they will help you to get that dream role. Make sure that you research about the company, what are the projects they are working on, or their future projects, what's their growth plans. Use social media, follow the company for updates and activities. Tailoring your approach, very important. Like we said, you need to have, you need to define your goals. What are your define your goals, whether they're permanent or internships. You customize, tailor your CV and covering letter for each company. I myself hate doing it, but this is the only way. And you highlight your relevant skills and experiences. You show genuine interest in the company, in company's projects, and the aims and the values. What's your value proposition? What can you bring to the table? What can you bring to that company? So, how do you do it? You make contact, you send an application or the letter, as I said, the pitching letter. Make sure that you're polite and respectful in all your communications. And obviously, sometimes you won't get a response. People are busy. Sometimes you can, you can fall through the net. So, give that, allow this to people. People are very busy. So, give it 1 to 2 weeks, a phone call or a message or a gentle email. Be persistent, but make sure that you're not intrusive. And if you get rejected, take that constructively and take it as a learning opportunity, and always ask for feedback so you can improve your future applications. It's hard, yes, but when you get feedback, it really helps. And the good thing about this is, I always believe an opportunity leads to an opportunity, and a contact will lead to a contact. I'm sharing all of this from my own personal experience and from my research. So be open, be polite, and make sure that you don't give up, because truly, truly, the job market is tough. It has always been tough, and it's tougher now than ever. So you have to be creative in your approach. This career advice, always make sure that you bear that in mind in order to gain your experience. If you don't have experience, or say if you're new to the country, internships, online experiences, placement, shadowing, volunteering, part-time, etc. I've mentioned that in the previous video. Again, we touch on that. Internships, I've already identified what the type of it is, the placements, the shadowing, volunteering, part-time, online. Volunteering is the one that will take you far. I've recently heard a story. I've had that experience myself. We all had to volunteer at some point in our lives in order to progress. So bear that in mind. You will have to volunteer. Recently, one of my colleagues shared a story about this, how tough it is in biomedical science. And he said, this gentleman, he came to the country, and then he had to travel. He got married. He had to come back. So my colleague advised him to volunteer because he had loads of experience. So he did pitch for himself. He went through all of that, and he sought advice, obviously, on his CV applications. As I said, always seek for support. And he did volunteer for some time. And I think he said within a month, he was offered a permanent position, and now he's a band seven. So there you go. I've had that experience myself, but I was very lucky in the last thread, when I was at the end of my, thinking I'm never going to get into a training position or an MLA where I'll be able to get a training position. Eventually, I was offered, but I was offered bank. And when there was a permanent position for an MLA, I got that, and I started my journey. So, volunteering or take it, it's a win win. You get the experience, you show your skills, and you get your foot in. And eventually, even though they're not going to pay you, but believe me, you're more likely to get that paid job. The typical employers, the NHS, the MRC, HSC, security agency, health security agency. There are other the academic departments at university, charity, government, forensic, private laboratories. I'm telling you, if I've never started in private, I wouldn't manage. Whether after finishing my master's or when I decided to get into biomedical science. So industries as well, food and drink, cosmetics, biotechnology, pharmaceuticals, all of them, they employ graduates in research and development, quality assurance, clinical trial management, sales, publishing companies, specialist press. This is all of the stuff that we've covered. So have an open mind. I know one of my friends, when she didn't want to go through all of this biomedical science journey, she traveled to America and she got involved in quality assurance, and she's been ever since involved in that, and she progressed in the company really well. So don't limit yourself. You've done a biomedical science degree or biomedical science masters, whichever. It opens up loads of opportunities. It's how you pitch yourself and how you put your experiences. So all of these sections are clickable. You can have a look at them and explore them. And again, drop in the comment sections if you have any questions or you want any more clarifications. So now we look at the skills we've covered, but now we're going to cover on a broader term. What are the skills that you can put on your CV, the essential skills? So, in terms of scientific specific knowledge, you've already covered that in your CV. You've done biochemistry, human anatomy, physiology, microbiology, genetics. All of this are covered in your degree. So, make sure that you show all of that. Laboratory skills, you've done the practical skills, you've done the planning, conducting and evaluating and executing the experiments. Health and safety, you comply with the regulations. You've been researching, interpreting scientific literature, all of this, you have to show that in your CV. My favorite part, transferable skills or soft skills. These are the skills that you can take them anywhere. Analytical and problem solving skills, computing and statistics, data analysis, project management, numeracy, organization and time management, communication, teamwork. All of these skills, you can show them in your CV. In terms of doing further studies, this really depends on you and depends on your path. Absolutely, I love having higher education. I just think it gives you that edge, but also be very mindful on how you're going to use that. Um, if you can do part time, but make sure that you're still working. So I'm not against doing further studies because the more I really enjoyed my masters. So if I didn't do my masters in biomedical science, I I don't think I would have gone where I wanted to go. So doing that further study will take you far. So, but choose wisely. That's what I would say. So, specialized knowledge, it will enhance your expertise in specific areas. You develop research skills, communication skills. Um, you can either you can even do PhD if you want, or even go into medicine. This is very common. A lot of people go into medicine, or you can just do a career change, go into a fast track graduate entry courses for career in dentistry, nursing, medicine, as we just mentioned, teaching, or veterinary sciences. I can think of so many people who went into one of these, either medicine or veterinary science, and finding a course, master degrees for advanced studies, or a specialist biomedical science programs. This is a very interesting statistics which I found from this resource. It just shows you what are the top jobs for graduates. They either natural and social sciences. Look at the percentage: 21%, 17% who go into engineering and science. These are the top jobs. Care working, that was very interesting, but a very low percentage. Um, 53% are employed, 19% go into further studies. Unfortunately, 6.4 unemployed. Types of work, 43% in science, 8.4% in retail, catering. Some people might change career altogether, childcare, clerical or administrative. So this is very interesting statistics to see how far people have gone. And as I said, this is fantastic resource. That's where I've got it. So I've tried to break it down for you guys to show you what it's like. You can do your own research, have a look at what you might feel like getting to, and reach out. Drop in the comment section and let me know where if you want me to elaborate on anything else. Yeah. Thank you for watching. I hope you have benefited from this information that I have shared with you, and it gave you some clarity that this having a biomedical science degree does not limit you just to the lab job, or you just automatically apply for biomedical scientist, though it does have its advantages. But again, everybody's skills are different. Some people have different talents. Everyone varies. For example, if you're an amazing writer who's excited about, I'm not criticizing, but because I wish I knew that when I was studying. I didn't do a biomedical science degree. My route was different. When I did masters in biomedical science degree, but I didn't know about all these opportunities and options that might be available. Okay, somebody might watch this video and say, oh, Ida, this is very, very competitive. I tell you one advice: every job market is competitive. It's always been competitive, and it will always remain competitive. Just think of how you be creative in your approach. That's all I can say. And this is why I created this initiative, to show you how you can do it based from my experience researching and other people's experiences, which you're gonna listen to their experiences on the podcast. But just think differently, be, don't give up, I would say, and make use of your skills. And again, as I said, tailor your CV. It's not something that I like doing, but it's part of the journey. So just think of your degree differently, gain that experience, keep that keep thinking about your career, how to develop your career. Again, by all means, if you want to do biomedical sciences, it's going to be just as competitive as any other job. Just as I said, pitch for yourself, think of how you can approach. Anyway, enough of that. If you found this video useful, hit the like and subscribe, and don't forget to follow my new page, Biomedical Science and Beyond. Keep those comments coming. If you have any more ideas, any things that you want me to explore, let me know, and keep shining and keep inspiring, and see you next time.